Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. Kevin Costner determined to leave Yellowstone feud behind him. Kevin Costner is not holding on to any grudges in 2025. The 69-year-old is determined to put all the drama that came from his exit from the neo-Western series Yellowstone behind him. Kevin's character, Dutton family patriarch John Dutton, was killed off in the show's final season after the actor decided to leave the series due to scheduling conflicts between Yellowstone and his passion project Horizons. His departure from the show stirred rumors of behind-the-scenes drama between him and showrunner Taylor Sheridan and co-star Luke Grimes, who plays his on-screen son. A source told Life and Style that Kevin is being intentional about getting a fresh start in 2025. Kevin's departure from Yellowstone shocked fans and rocked production, causing a rift between him and his co-stars. With the final season being split into two parts, Kevin's shooting schedule for Horizons cut into his schedule for Yellowstone. Reports of him being difficult to work with and demanding that the second half of the fifth season be filmed in under 2 weeks began to make the rounds online, stoking the flames of a potential feud. It seems the actor has bigger things to worry about these days. The first chapter of Horizons, which is a 4-part Western film series, ended up being a major flop at the box office despite its whopping $100 million budget. Chapter 2's theatrical release was cancelled and went straight to home video, getting a mere $11 million. The source told Life and Style that the bodyguard actor is not going to keep warring the Yellowstone franchise now that he's officially exited the show, especially since his character was written out of the series. Instead of focusing on the past, Kevin is looking toward the future. He's putting all that behind him and focused on rescuing his in-progress Horizon, an American saga film series, and clawing back more of the massive investment he and his partners have put into it. Kevin Costner sat on the porch of his sprawling ranch, the Montana landscape stretching endlessly before him. The air was crisp, the kind of clean that seemed to cleanse not just the lungs but the soul. He tipped his cowboy hat back and sipped his coffee, the steam rising into the cold morning air. He'd spent countless mornings like this, soaking in the serenity of the wilderness. It was the same peace that had drawn him to Yellowstone in the first place, but now that chapter of his life felt like a distant storm cloud on an otherwise clear horizon. The feud had been draining. Whispers of creative clashes, contract disputes, and scheduling conflicts had spread like wildfire. He'd been accused of everything from ego-driven power plays to abandoning the show at its peak. The truth, as it often is, was far more nuanced. "It's not about the drama," Kevin murmured to himself, setting his mug on the weathered wooden railing. His voice carried the weight of countless roles, each one a reflection of some part of his soul. It's about the legacy. He had poured himself into John Dutton, the rugged patriarch of the Dutton family. The character had resonated deeply, not just with fans but with Kevin himself. John's fierce loyalty to his land, his family, and his principles mirrored the actor's own values. But somewhere along the way, the lines between fiction and reality had blurred. The set had become a battlefield of egos and visions, and Kevin had found himself at the center of it all. As he stood there, watching the sun crest over the mountains, he felt a sense of clarity. He wasn't just an actor. He was a storyteller, a dreamer who had spent decades weaving tales that transported audiences to other worlds. He thought of the countless films he'd been a part of, from Dances with Wolves to The Bodyguard. Each one was a testament to his love for the craft, his respect for the art of storytelling. "I'm done fighting," he said aloud, the words carried off by the wind. Determined to leave the feud behind him, Kevin had spent the past few weeks reflecting on what truly mattered. He'd turned to his family, finding solace in the laughter of his children and the quiet strength of his wife. He'd sought refuge in music, strumming his guitar late into the night and losing himself in the melodies. And of course he'd returned to nature, to the vast expanses of land that had always been his sanctuary. He had also been busy planning his next move. Kevin wasn't the type to dwell on the past. If one door closed, he would build another. He'd always been drawn to the stories that others were too afraid to tell, the ones that challenged conventions and pushed boundaries. With Yellowstone behind him, he was free to explore new horizons. In his mind, he was already envisioning a new project, something that would capture the rugged beauty of the American West while delving deeper into the complexities of human relationships. He wanted to create something timeless, something that would resonate long after the cameras stopped rolling. But first, there was one last thing he needed to do. The phone call was brief but significant. Kevin had reached out to Taylor Sheridan, the creator of Yellowstone. Their relationship had been strained, to say the least, but Kevin knew that holding on to resentment would only weigh him down. "I just wanted to say thank you," Kevin said, his voice steady, "for the opportunity, for believing in me, and for the stories we were able to tell together." There was a pause on the other end before Taylor replied, "I appreciate that, Kevin, and for what it's worth, I'm grateful too." The conversation ended without fanfare, but Kevin felt a sense of relief wash over him. He had made his peace, and that was enough. Later that day, as he saddled up his horse and rode out into the open plains, he felt a renewed sense of purpose. The feud, the headlines, the speculation, it all seemed so small compared to the vastness of the world around him. He was reminded of a line from one of his films, "If you build it, they will come." He smiled at the thought. Kevin Costner wasn't just moving on, he was moving forward. And somewhere out there, on the horizon, a new story was waiting to be told. Would you like me to expand on any particular aspect, such as the new project Kevin envisions or the dynamics of his call with Taylor Sheridan? The morning sun filtered softly through the curtains of Kevin Costner's Los Angeles home, casting golden beams across his quiet, private sanctuary. He sat alone in his study, his hands wrapped around a warm cup of coffee, staring out at the serene view of the city skyline. The constant noise of Hollywood, the demands of his career, and the years spent living in the shadow of his public persona had all left their marks on him. Yet, as he sat there, he was reminded that none of it had been as complicated as the last few months. Costner, a man known for his stoic demeanor both on and off the screen, had always prided himself on keeping a sense of peace within his personal life. But recently, the storm clouds that had gathered around the Yellowstone set had taken their toll. It wasn't just the grueling schedule or the physical demands of playing John Dutton. No, the tension between him and the show's creator, Taylor Sheridan, had become a topic of tabloid fodder, and Costner, despite his reluctance to engage in drama, found himself at the heart of a Hollywood feud. For months, rumors swirled that Costner was at odds with Sheridan, with whispers of disagreements over production schedules, creative control, and the future of the iconic Western series. The media, eager to speculate on what went wrong, painted a picture of a clash between two strong-willed men who had once collaborated on one of the most successful TV dramas of the modern era. But Costner, a man who had spent decades building his reputation, was tired. Tired of the headlines, tired of the stress, and most importantly, tired of the feud. As he looked at the reflection of himself in the glass window, he made a vow to himself. It was time to leave the past behind and step into a new chapter. The decision wasn't an easy one. Costner had given so much to Yellowstone, pouring his heart and soul into the role of John Dutton. The show had not only brought him acclaim, but had also allowed him to reconnect with a younger generation of fans who admired his work in films like Dances with Wolves and The Bodyguard. It had been a rewarding experience, and walking away from it seemed like an unthinkable choice just a year ago. But the weight of the drama was beginning to take its toll. Costner, known for his desire to stay out of the limelight, couldn't escape the constant buzz surrounding the alleged fallout. He found himself questioning what mattered more, staying in the middle of a media circus or preserving his peace of mind. "I've done enough," Costner said to himself in the quiet of his study. "I've proven what I can do. I don't need to keep proving myself."